What's up, Speedsters? Welcome to another episode of Flash Talk. My name is Michael, and this is Dylan. Today we're going to be talking about Season 2, Episode 7, Guerrilla Warfare. So, Dylan, broad overview, what did you think of the episode?
I thought it was a good episode. It's not, you don't get to see a lot of Flash, so it's not necessarily a Flash-oriented episode. It's more of a story about Grodd, what he came from, what happened to him, and where he's going to end up being.
Right. And so at the beginning of the episode, we have Barry trying to rehabilitate himself after being paralyzed by Zoom last episode.
Yep. So that's kind of fun to see him kind of build up his speed again and try to re-amp. You know, he's...
I think you were a bit upset that at the end of last episode, you said that now we have two speedsters without their speed.
Yeah, so now Barry's lost his speed. Jay Garrick doesn't have his speed, but now Jay Garrick's not even around.
Right.
So we don't have to even worry about him. But this is kind of Barry's nightfall, so to speak. So he has to recover from Zoom basically destroying him. Mm-hmm. So we talked about it last week. The reason Zoom is here so early is to show how intense and how powerful he is as a villain in a foe to Barry. Him recovering from this is going to be a huge mental thing, I think, throughout the season.
Mm-hmm. And so we also get a little bit of Henry Allen in this episode because Barry is not doing so well with his rehab.
No, so he has to come in and kind of be that rock or that supportive.
Thanks to
character.
Iris calls Henry and says, "Hey, your son's not doing so hot."
And hopefully that's kind of like a nod to where Iris and Barry can end up being, hopefully later.
More of a couple?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you're not too happy about Patty in the picture.
Patty can just go. I'm done with her. So,
what don't you like about her?
You know what? I feel she's a very cheesy character.
I mean, they have that. They have that.
I'm okay with her. I'm just not okay with her and Barry. As it feels very forced every episode. Yeah, it just doesn't feel natural.
When they announced that they had cast Patty, they also released like a description of her, and it said that it said something about like possible love interest of Barry's, and I was like, whenever you put that in the description of a character, like that's one of their main characteristics, you're not selling them too well. But she also is sort of the whole time Barry's he has to lie. He can't tell her that he's paralyzed.
Yeah, so he's kind of hiding and shrouding the fact that can't hang out with her or be around her because
right, he's paralyzed, so he can't tell her that. So he just says he's got the flu or something.
But that's it. And this is like, I don't know, the fourth, fifth time he's had to lie or hide something from her because he's just...
Because he's the Flash.
He's the Flash. So it's amazing that she's been able to put up with it for this long, and that's obviously going to be some point of interest in a later episode.
Mm-hmm. And so Cisco goes on a date with Hawkgirl, or Kendra Saunders, not Hawkgirl yet. And he touches her when they're about to go to the movies, and
so
he sees something. And
a blurry-faced.
He says it was a man.
He says he sees a guy with wings.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's Hawkgirl. It shows a full leathered body suit, and Hawkgirl's suit that they showed in the promotional images for the two Hawkman and Hawkgirl. She's covered in leather. He has no sleeves, and I mean he's a guy. He's much bigger,
right?
So she has a smaller figure. It's covered in leather.
The only reason that I think he could be right in that it was Hawkman is because him touching the person doesn't necessarily mean he sees that person. Like he touched Wells and he saw Jesse. As long as there's a connection, I think it works. But you were also wondering that does Cisco only vibe people from Earth 2? Like when he touches someone from Earth 1, does he only see things from Earth 2? I don't think
necessarily the case because he can see through like you said, the vibrations of time as
well.
Right,
which is how he first experienced it last season.
Which is another aspect for Hawkgirl, essentially, where maybe she doesn't know she's Hawkgirl because in past lives she has been. So he can see through those
past lives?
Those vibrations to her past life where she used to be Hawkgirl before. She just doesn't remember because she's been either reincarnated, however they're going to do it this way. Mm-hmm. So he'll kind of help her on her journey to become who she is, and when Hawkman comes in, kind of that thing will culminate and we'll get that story.
Yeah, because they've already released a short trailer of the crossover episode that deals with Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And the introduction of Vandal Savage, which is the main villain of Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah, and another small little tidbit. I don't know how he's going to take all of them on, and that's going to be fun to see how they make him do that.
Oh, like how Vandal Savage can be strong enough to take on the whole team?
Yeah, very mental, sort of I'm sure it's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, and so the highlight of this episode was Gorilla Grodd.
Yep.
We got to see him once last season, and it was very subdued.
Well, we saw him a couple more times than once, but once prominently for his episode.
Right.
It was a kind of cool little small build up with first thing we got to see was the broken cage with the word Grodd on it.
Right.
It's like, okay, don't tease us if you're not going to show us Grodd.
Right.
And they slowly do that thing with the sewers, and then Harrison Wells being, the watcher over Grodd, and then him escaping. So
we also got to see Grodd using more of his mind control powers.
Yep, it was more of him kind of staying behind the scenes and using other people as his pawns because he can. He has that telepathy that he can mind control people.
Right, and so Caitlin commented on that. She said that he's getting stronger.
Yeah, which is cool because is it going to be his mind control that he kind of uses to make other gorillas, more formidable and be able to harness their mind?
Right, because his mind, his whole plot or his whole plan, really, this episode was. He was feeling lonely, and there are no other gorillas that he knows of that are like him that have these telekinetic
which is very
powers.
Foreshadowing of his plan from very reminiscent of the comics where he takes gorillas or tries to turn people into gorillas.
Right. So that's why he abducts Caitlin in this episode because she was always nice to him.
Yep. So he likes having Caitlin around. He feels comfortable. He feels okay around her. In a sense.
Right. And we at the end we get to and you were commenting on how sort of far-fetched this is, but Wells has this perfect plan for what to do with Grodd because there just happens to be a gorilla city.
Oh yeah, a special reserve just for gorillas who have been either affected by
particle
their particle accelerator or experiments. So we have a whole area where we can put gorilla Grodds.
Right, and it's this place in I think it was in the safari or I can't remember. It showed it on a map, and I can't remember.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. Yeah,
like a rainforest or something. And they also have these structures that are like in the mountains there that are like shaped.
Oh, I think that's so cool though. Did you think that was cheesy?
It's cool, but it's like, and it is Gorilla City.
Yeah.
But it's like once again like there's this perfect place.
Yeah. But speaking of Gorilla City, like I'm sitting there and I see that come up on the TV, and I'm just like, yes.
Yeah,
yes, that's Gorilla City.
And it was the last thing that, we saw in this episode.
Yeah, so it was so cool. I love the statues. I love the way Gorilla Grodd looks. But they basically handed him Gorilla City. He didn't have to make it or create it or work for it. It's just
right. Like I guess there are already other gorillas.
Earth 2 is established kind of a Gorilla City, but he's gonna I'm assuming take over in a sense. So that's cool.
Yeah, and you had a theory that he could possibly come back next season as the main villain of season 3.
I think it's kind of incorporates a couple of things. I feel like if he meets Earth 2 Caitlin Snow, who we think right now is Killer Frost.
Okay.
So if Earth 2 Caitlin Snow is Killer Frost, and if Gorilla Grodd meets her, he's going to recognize that face, feel comfortable around her.
But immediately he'll read her mind.
Yeah, and maybe he'll realize that she's not the same person, but she looks like her. And he'll feel comfortable around her, and maybe He
didn't feel comfortable around Earth 2 Wells, pretending to be Earth 1 Wells.
True, but maybe Caitlin won't know. The Earth 1 Caitlin won't know, so she won't be able to pretend. She'll just be Killer Frost, and Grodd will just feel comfortable around her.
Do you think that whole mind controller the whole time?
Maybe.
I don't know. It's a far off thing. It's not that far off because we're getting to see Caitlin or Killer Frost this season. So,
but if that would be the thing. Both of them coming in next season kind of being like, I'm assuming a team or, you know what, next season's probably going to be a rogues gallery sort of team.
You think? Just a bunch of different, which is kind of weird because they started off with like such a big like villain, Reverse Flash in season 1.
Yeah, Reverse Flash and then Zoom.
And now it's Zoom.
They're going a lot of speedsters.
Right, but they're also really big villains.
Yep.
Like for them to just say like, let's go with the rogues gallery seems like a step down almost.
Do you think so? Well, the Rogues Gallery, from a comic standpoint, is one of the best best group of villains there is, besides from Batman or Spider-Man. There's the Rogues, the Flash's Rogues, and them together as a team is they're very powerful and they're very scary to the Flash. So if we can have we're talking about potentially Mirror Master being the Season 2 villain instead of Zoom. that didn't end up being the case. So maybe he'll be the headliner of the Rogues in season 3.
Okay. I guess since we're talking about that, we can. So next episode, they're taking a break for Thanksgiving week, but they'll come back the week after with the crossovers with Arrow and Flash, and that's going to be like we said, all about Hawkman and Hawkgirl and Vandal Savage being introduced.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of, I'm assuming, time related. Mm-hmm. Maybe Vandal Savage and Hawkman and Hawkgirl have clashed before.
Mm-hmm. And it by the sounds of the trailer, Malcolm Merlyn knows who Vandal Savage is.
Yep. So he's going to kind of be the tie-in to tell them who he is, and kind of be like, good luck. You guys have to deal with him.
Mm-hmm. Well, overall, I thought this episode was pretty good.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Anytime we get to see Gorilla Grodd doing his thing,
yeah, he always looks
awesome.
So good, too.
Mm-hmm.
Especially that final roar at the end.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you guys for watching this episode of Flash Talk. I'm Michael, and this is Dylan. If you guys like this episode, then subscribe to the channel, Nerd Club. It lets us know that you guys really like what we're doing and that you want to see more. Also, like this video so that other people know that they can find it. And what did you guys think of this episode? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks.